Have you ever looked at one of those old concept drawings from the mid-1900s and thought, damn, the future was supposed to look way cooler than this? Same here. Just about all of us have. Because if you asked people from the 1900s what the 2000s are supposed to look like, you'd probably get a lot of answers along the line of flying cars, silver jumpsuits, robot butlers, etc. Well, we ended up getting iPhones, TikTok, and Roombas that bump into the same chair leg for 20 minutes straight. See, back in the 20th century, the future wasn't just this figment of time, it was an aesthetic. We're talking streamlining, rocket fins, glass bubble domes, and chrome everything. People thought design was going to be super sleek and smooth, very aerospace inspired, extremely high tech. And in a way, it did go that direction, just not in the way they pictured it. Concept cars were probably the biggest offenders of this. And I mean that in the best way. They weren't just cars, they were visions. Looking at a few of them, we can start with the General Motors Firebird 1. It was from 1953 and literally looked like a jet with wheels, built with fiberglass turbine engines and wings. The Ford Nucleon concept from 1958 was powered by a nuclear reactor.
Hey, yo, Johnny, what if we put some of that depleted uranium in this here vehicle and see if it made it work? My God, George, I think that's the best idea you've ever had.
It's not, actually. No, that's probably incredibly dangerous. But it's cool to think about that they thought in an alternate direction. It's probably not the safest route to go in terms of, do you want cancer? Then there's the Chrysler turbine car, which actually kind of worked. It ran on anything. Diesel, tequila, perfume. Problem was, it sounded like a fighter jet and the engine could melt nearby pedestrians if you weren't careful. So, minor issues. The designs weren't practical, but they weren't supposed to be. They were designed as speculation. What could the direction be that we lead to? Designers were dreaming way past what was possible at the time, or at least possible in a mass production scale. But that's what made it cool. But it wasn't just cars that did all this. Furniture was getting pretty weird too. You got bubble chairs, beanbag pods, fold out everything. Kitchens were designed like they belonged in lunar bases. People wanted everything to fold, spin, or retract. Architecture, pure futurism. Dome houses, floating platforms, the whole living in a glass tower surrounded by flying taxis vibe. Even malls were designed with a kind of optimism. An almost sense of modular design was even come up with. The Pacific Design Center in West Hollywood, California kind of makes it feel like a Tetris block building for humans. But what hits that nail on the head even harder is Habitat 67, an apartment complex in Montreal, Quebec. You look at buildings like these and you think of space colonies almost, where everything's kind of put together and you just imagine a lot of like little spaceships kind of flying around. I sort of think of the Star Wars movies almost. Even kitchen appliances had this space age optimism. Blenders that looked like rocket engines. Microwaves that were digital, which at the time basically just meant they had like a red light on it and it made a really loud hum. So why is it then that we don't live in this future of glass domes and flying cars that was envisioned? Because reality knocked at the door and said, yeah, that's cute, but do you know how expensive that is? Because as it turns out, the future is way less sci-fi utopia and way more cost-effective plastic everything. Somewhere between idealism and actual engineering. We traded rocket fins for Bluetooth connectivity. Design, at least concept design, reflects what people hoped for. In the 1900s, we were optimistic, here in the US at least. There was the space race, the post-war boom, new tech, new materials. We thought we were headed towards a utopia, and so concept design reflected that. We wanted to keep that boom, that trajectory, that momentum continuing. We didn't want it to stop. Our design reflects a lot of what's going on now as well. It's sleek, quiet, clean, but also a little sterile. It's a little safe. Everything's kind of just black and white, maybe even beige. Is it efficient? Yes. Inspiring? Not so much. The country has kind of gotten to a point where it's so focused on just costs and saving money and making lots of money, becoming as cost effective as possible, that everyone's just kind of gone quiet. Innovation feels like it's sort of slowing down in the sense of designing and dreaming. In terms of ways of making things more cost effective, innovation is booming. But on the side of dreaming big and going with crazy ideas, it's slowed down a lot. Even the concept cars of today are a lot more realistic. They're more restrained. They're still cool, but they don't necessarily scream the future anymore. If anything, they just kind of scream 3 years from now. Is it the future? Sure, but it feels a lot more tangible, like we can get there tomorrow. Instead of screaming the future, they instead whisper autonomous electric crossover with LED trim. But here's the real takeaway. Design is a mirror. The reason the future looked so bold back then is because that's what people wanted. They wanted to believe in something amazing. Post-war America, everyone was feeling great. They were riding a high. Now, we're a lot more grounded, even jaded, and our design reflects that. But maybe we should start dreaming again, and it doesn't necessarily have to be about glass-domed cities and flying cars, just bold, thinking bold, something that looks forward. Because yeah, a nuclear powered winged car is definitely a bad idea, but it's fun to think about. But if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on the post notifications, follow me on all my socials. All those links are down in the description. Follow me on the second channel. I'm doing a lot more talking opinion piece videos on there. Those are gonna be fun. And follow me on my new clips channel, where I will be streaming on Twitch every Friday. On there you'll see clips from a lot of those streams, as well as compilations that I'll sometimes make when I play games offline. So give me a follow on those channels, and I hope that wherever you guys are, whenever you guys are watching today's video, you have a great, wonderful day. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.